Hi everyone and welcome to today's quick live stream. I'm just going to go through how I would draw a little dragon head just to help inspire you guys to have a go and enjoy. So it's just going to be pencil and paper today, so off we go. Okay, so the first thing I actually do is I don't do the outline drawing of the blocks. You don't have to do it at the end of the day. You draw how you find it most comfortable and how you want to draw. So bear with me. We're having a camera issue. That's better. Right. Yeah, my live stream has a few second delay, so right. So what I do is I start with drawing a small oval. I would do this very lightly on the paper, but I'm going to do it slightly darker so you guys can see it. And it's kind of a little egg shape. And then from that, I do a slightly larger egg shape over it. And that would be the eye socket. Okay, so you've got your eyeball and your eye socket. Then above that I do a nice straight line, well, straightish, and then I curve that down into almost two diamond-y shapes, so you can make a diamond there. Then I bring another straight line off over here. So I'd normally be working in this a lot lighter. Now from the eye socket area I come along, straight line, and then say a straight line down, and if you think about it, that would be the area, say, your cheekbone. But in this case we're going to do a slightly different thing, so you can either do your cheekbone there and bring that in up here, or like me, you can bring a triangle down, which would be a jugal. But it's good to map in where the cheek bone would be anyway, so that would be my jugal, that triangle there. And then from the eye socket again, I go kind of diagonal. It's almost like a little hexagon, and that's where the horns would come from. So that's very roughly how I would start mapping out dragon head. So to put it together, I've got my little eye there, the eye socket, the head over the top, or the top of the skull, down into the nose, and we'll just put a nostril in there. The nostrils tend to be quite near the tip of the snout, because a lot of animals want to smell what they're eating. Then on down to the chin, a little bit of curve there, where the jaw is, and then down into the jaw, lower jaw and the cheek. In this case, the jugal bone, a bit there, which will go along here, and I always do a little lumpy bit there. And then I bring a little curve round where the back of the skull is. The creature's got to have somewhere to house the brain. And I do an ear there. And this bit, to make the mouth, I do a tiny little lip there. And then kind of under the opposite way around there, and then another curve, and I bring it all the way up to this bit. There's a little teeny weeny lip. Then we go back to where the horns are going to come from, which is here. Put a little ridge on there, and then that's where you can put whatever type of horn you like. And I'll just mark out the bottom of the jaw. And then just around here, just in front of the eye socket, I'm just going to do a little indentation, because the skull won't be solid bone, it's got to have some lightness and fenestras or holes within it to lighten it off. So that's where my fenestra is going to be, and then the ear is just tucked up back here. And that's a very basic of how I would approach doing a skull. think even though the drawing's quite big on my paper, it's probably quite teeny weeny on the screen, so I apologise. So what I'll do is I'll just go over that with pen so you can see that. And because this is a forward-facing predator, the eyes would be, well, forward-facing, so you don't want a side view of the eye. So I'll turn that more into a triangle, add a little eye bags, and then here I'm just going to have a little nodule, a little bony crest over the eye. Just accentuating some of the shapes. And then for the horns, I'm just doing a very basic little design. I'm just going to put in some teeny weeny little teeth. And the horn on the other side of the head. And the other eye ridge. Yeah, I said I was going to just use pencil, didn't I? So if we take the pencil lines out, that's what we're left with. Now, the nice thing about if you draw in pencil is you can correct your mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another head below, because I've seen something that I've done slightly wrong. So repeat the steps again, and this time I'm going to do a triangular shape for the eye. There's my eye ridge, another triangle, a straight line for the top of the skull, little diamond for the mouth. This time I'm going to bring it all the way up around here, and the rest of the head is going to come up here. I'm going to bring in my little jugular bone, push that a little bit further, and there's my little horn area. And then from here we're going to do that little nodule upside down, and then back and all the way over with that curve. And from this point I'm going to have a little ledge, if you like, where two bones meet. And what you really, if you can, want is where the eye meets, goes through the jugal. It's this point here that should be your deepest part of the jaw. So we bring the jaw down here, and we'll bring it up here. The little fenestra in there to make sure the skull's nice and light, an ear over here, and a nose over there. And just add in the other side, and there we go. And that is basically how I would draw out a dragon head. And by sticking with that kind of rough design, I can make it shorter, I can make it longer, I can play around with it, I can add things to the skull, so I can add a big, say, nose horn here, and I can add all different types of horns to the head. I can change the face to have a beak, and it'll still work. I can extend this part. I can make it more kind of knobbly, or I can make it more pointy. So I definitely recommend have a basic design, something that you can always go back to, and then you can alter it as and when you like, and you'll find that one basic design will do tons and tons of different designs. So say, I think I've got enough room over here, haven't I? Right. So triangle eye, the pointy bit above, to the eye ridge, and this time I'm going to do a sweeping mark to a point here. I'm going to go down again and around. Go. So this bit here is that going to be an opposite, so you've got a little ring there, comes up here, big smiley. There's my triangular jiggle. Back over, round, and sweep. And straight line there for the horn. And this time, that little jawbone, going to have it slightly open. So what's hidden when the mouth's closed is going to be shown. I do a little straight line and a little kind of bend in it, and then a gentle curve. And then once again looking for the deepest point, which is here. So we bring that bit down to there and straight onto there. Another little gap there to lighten up the skull, and a beak there. So we turn that into a beak. We can turn this bit into a nose horn, and in this case the nostril itself will go about here, because when you've got a beaked animal, the nostril will actually be set further back. You can even have a nose at kind of this point in front of the eye. Have a look at modern day birds to see where nostrils can be found, and then you can do your horns up here, and you can go as flashy as you like. Just do some very basic ones. In this case I'm going to bring that bit back there. I prefer to work in rubber, wouldn't it? There we go. Put some shade in. That's where this point is where one of the big muscles that helps work the jaw actually overlaps and works from. Make that little fenestra a bit deeper. Put some detail on the eye. And there we go, there's another type of skull. Still using the same principles again. Let's get another bit of paper. Okay. Right. So I'm going to fill up hopefully the whole page. So here we go. So triangle eye. And a little lump above it. And a triangle below it. The skull, top of the skull, which you can make shorter or longer. The diamondy bit for the mouth. This time I'm going to put the horn up here. Bring that bit curved around there. And meet up the horn. First part of the lower jawbone. Find where my deepest part of my jaw is. and pull it up to that little nose diamond. A little hollow area. First little smiley bit, second smiley bit with the S curve. Put the nostril in, put an ear in, and draw whatever type of horn you like. And that's the basic shape again. This time I've made it a bit more squat and a bit more stubby. So what can we do with this more squat form? We can elongate a bit of the chin, and maybe put an extra horn on the side, maybe even one just on this lower part of the jaw. So we can add a couple of little bits. With the eye, pull in some detail. Maybe because the whole head is more squat, having this little bit more squat. And for this dome with the skull, sorry, I keep on going for the wrong rubber. I need to replace my rubbers in my pencil. So we're going to alter that, because he's got quite a stumpy face. But I always keep a little line in just to say where the actual true line, if you like, of the skull is. And this little guy's got a crest on his head. And for teeth, since he's got a deep chin, you could maybe have some deep saber teeth. And of course it'll all depend on if your dragon is carnivorous or herbivorous. A herbivore. So where I'll put the teeth is this little first lip. I'll do maybe 4 very small ones, and then it's at this point is where I'd start putting the big teeth in. So there's our little canine tusk, and if we do the little canine in front, definitely have a look at modern animal skulls. And there's a really good book called Skulls, which is photographs of a chap's collection of nearly every animal possible he's got a skull for, and it gives you a really good idea, all photos, different angles, so you can see how the jaws worked, how hollow they were, and the diversity and the usage of the skull. So that book is very useful if you're going to design animals and such, because you can really get some realism in there. Because this guy looks kind of big, maybe give him some big scales on the top. And even a little kind of stumpy horn just here. Try to remember where the throat actually would begin on an animal as you're designing it. There's no point in having a throat coming from here, because your neck's going to be coming from somewhere up near the horns, and there's not going to be enough muscle to support the weight of the head, especially if it's something as bulky as this. So you need to make sure that your neck muscles are coming in at the right place. So what I tend to do is, where I've put the jaw right here, I'll say that's my halfway point, and I always try and do a little triangle from the lowest part of the jaw to there, and that's where I start. So in this case, it's just down here, and then I'll curve that round. And there we go. That's how I do a chunky little dragon head. So just using very basic lines, but without having to draw boxes and more boxes and shapes. So I hope that's been some help, and that's really all I've got time for tonight. I got to go work tomorrow. I got a 12.5 hour shift tomorrow, so I got to go and find a bed and sleep. So hopefully I'll be back soon with more how to do drawings. I'm going to try and do a little series of these just to show you how I'd approach a drawing. So until then, I hope everyone has a lovely evening, take care, and a happy drawing.